What is good, everyone? Welcome back to the Retro World, guys. In today's pickups video, we are going to go over a bunch of freaking stuff that we have picked up. Let's get into it. First up, guys, we've got Kirby Triple Deluxe on the Nintendo 3DS. Any chance I get to pick up a Kirby game that we don't have for a good price, we usually go ahead and snag it. I think we picked this one up from a GameStop, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember what we spent, but I remember it was part of some deal. I feel like maybe we got this for 10 bucks or so. So yeah, drop a comment and let me know if you are a fan of any of the Kirby games. Next up, we've got Angry Birds Star Wars for the Wii U. Unfortunately, it is loose, but I'm sure at some point we will find the case and the manual, although a lot of these Wii U games actually don't have manuals, so I don't know if this is one of the ones that do or not. But yeah, we are trying to go for the full Nintendo Wii U North American set. I don't know how many games we're at right now. I feel like we're only about halfway or so, but hey guys, it's all about the journey. And funny enough, we have Angry Birds Trilogy. Now this is only the case. We actually picked up that game you guys just saw. It was in here and I thought it went to this, and then upon closer inspection, we did realize that the other game was Angry Birds Star Wars. So two different games for the Wii U. At some point, I'm sure we'll find this game loose and then we can complete this game. And another Wii U game that we are adding to our list, we have Sonic and AllStars Racing Transformed. This is the bonus edition. I'm not exactly sure what it comes with. Oh, there we go. Outrun Bay Track and Challenges, Metal Sonic and Mods, in-game stickers. So those are the bonuses. I think we actually have this game on the PS3. I'm not sure if it's the same exact game or not, but since we have it on the Wii U, maybe we'll get rid of our PS3 copy. We don't really need both. Although, I feel like this game would probably play a little better on the PS3. Next up, we got this little PSP Sampler disc, Volume 1. I don't know how many volumes they made for this, but I kind of figured we picked this up in a lot. I don't really think something like this is worth selling off by itself. I could be wrong though. I'm wrong a lot. It definitely happens. But yeah, I just kind of thought we would add this to the PSP collection. We do not have a huge PSP collection by any means, so anytime we see stuff like this, super cheap, we just go ahead and add it to the collection. Next up, an Xbox 360 game. We have Halo Reach. I feel like when this game first came out, I remember hearing mixed reviews about it. Not exactly sure why, probably just because the other games were better, but y'all let me know down below in the comment section if that is true. I just remember this coming out years and years ago, and I don't want to say people necessarily hated it, but I just feel like it had a lot of mixed reviews at the time. Let me know. Next up, we have a regular purple Nintendo GameCube Controller. Just kidding. Look at that freaking back. Oh man, I don't even know if this necessarily makes it more valuable, more like harder to come by, but we picked this up, I don't know, it was a few months ago. You guys probably saw that video. We definitely got it pretty cheap. I think it was part of a bundle, if I remember correctly. I just thought this thing was too cool. I figured we would add it to our GameCube collection. We already have probably enough controllers, but come on now. Something about that translucent clear on the back. That is so cool. Next up for the Nintendo Wii, we have Chicken Shoot. Something about these freaking gallery shooter type of games, guys. I am so drawn to them, especially when you find them very cheap for the Wii. Y'all let me know if you are a fan of these type of games. I don't feel like these are the type of games you want to play when you're in the mood for like an RPG or like an amazing story or anything like that. But when you just want to sit back and have some mindless entertainment, this is the type of game that you would probably go for. Next up, a Final Fantasy game I don't think I ever played. I feel like I remember seeing this when I was younger, when it first came out, but I never got to play it. So we have Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, the Crystal Bearers. I think we picked this up at the pawn shop. I think we got it for like maybe $5 or $6. It was pretty cheap. Y'all already know the drill. Anytime we see a cheap Wii game that we don't have that also looks interesting, we're just going to go ahead and pick it up. Next up on the PS4, we have Tales of Arise. Guys, y'all let me know how you feel about the Tales series. I played Tales of Vesperia last year, and I had a lot of fun. That game definitely got challenging at times, as most RPGs do, but I have not jumped into this one yet. Y'all let me know if it is similar. Y'all let me know if they've completely changed the combat style. Let me know down below. A game I have been wanting to pick up for a really long time. I really considered picking this up on day one, but y'all know most of the time we just wait. We wait a little bit and then we find these games for a fraction of the cost. Now, of course, sometimes you got to wait a whole year or even longer. Usually, though, we're not in a rush to play any of these games. We kind of just like building up the library, and then at some point we get to sit back and relax and just pick and choose which games we want to play. We got Final Fantasy VII Remake. Now, I think this is what, part 1? Aren't they doing like a part 2 or a part 3 or something? I don't know. I'm sure they're definitely going to do something like that and make a bunch of money because that is just what people do. But we got Final Fantasy VII Remake, guys. Let me know if you have played this game. Everything I have seen looks freaking amazing. I cannot wait to jump in. Hopefully sooner than later. Wolfenstein, The New Order on the PS4. Kind of like, I guess, the Wii games and kind of like some of the other consoles we collect for. If we see cheap PS4 games that we don't have, we usually just go ahead and pick them up. Monster Hunter World on the PS4. Guys, this is a series I have been wanting to jump into for quite a while. Just like a lot of other series, unfortunately, but I've heard really, really great things about Monster Hunter games in general, so I'm gonna assume that Monster Hunter World is probably really fun. I feel like this is one of those games, though, once you jump in, bam, 100 hours, gone instantly. Y'all let me know if that's true or not, but I feel like this is one of those games. Next up, we got Dragon Ball FighterZ for the PS4. I feel like these Dragon Ball games, Dragon Ball Z games have always been a lot of fun. They've made so many from the PS2 to the PS3, now to the PS4. I don't know if we have anything on the PS5 yet, but we don't even have a PS5, so I guess we probably shouldn't be worried about that. Let me know down below if you are a fan of any of these Dragon Ball Fighter games. Wrestling 2K19 Deluxe Edition. So much of my childhood was consumed playing some of those earlier wrestling games, from the N64 to the Super Nintendo to even the GameCube after that. Guys, I freaking love these type of games. Y'all let me know below who your favorite wrestler is of all time. Mine has to be Sting, my freaking favorite. Little by little, we've been adding PSVR games to the collection. Kind of funny, we picked up a PSVR a long time ago, got super dizzy after playing a bunch of the demo games, decided it wasn't for me, and then we came across a really crazy deal on another PSVR, and rather than selling that one off and using that money to go out and buy more games or a different console, we just kept it. It was so cheap. I was like, you know what? We're going to keep it. We're going to give it another shot. And I feel like the more you get used to VR, probably the easier it becomes. At least that's what I've heard from some of you guys. So we got Batman Arkham, a really fun game. Let's go. Next up, we've got some N64 games. So the first one is Off-Road Challenge. Just like the Nintendo Wii U set, we are also going for the full North American N64 library. Why are we going for both sets at the same time? I don't know, but it's not like we have to complete them by tomorrow or anything. Like I said, it's all about the journey, so there's not really a rush to complete either of these sets, but anytime we find any of these games cheap, we go ahead and pick them up. Next up, we've got Star Wars Rogue Squadron. I never really got the chance to play a lot of these Star Wars games when I was a kid. I do remember the pod racing game, and I feel like there was one other one I played, but I can't remember. I don't think I ever got a chance to play this one, so it's always fun picking up games that you never had a chance to play when you were a kid. And next up, we have A Bug's Life. So another N64 game added to the collection. I think kind of like the Wii U set, we're about halfway through the N64 set as well. So we still got a while to go, but pretty awesome. Oh yes, next up we have Glover. Let me know down below if you guys ever got a chance to play this one. It's definitely an interesting game. It's pretty fun. Next up, in a super weird case, we have Jade Cocoon for the PS1. The manual is in here, and then the game is inside the actual case. We definitely scored this at the pawn shop, and we got a really good deal on this. Definitely one of those PS1, I feel like hidden gem type of games, so pretty awesome. Next up, we have another PS4 game. This one is loose, unfortunately, but we got it for a few dollars. I think this was at a pawn shop, if I'm not mistaken. We have Blood Bowl 2. Never played the first one, so we got to jump into the sequel before we get a chance to play the first game. And another unfortunately loose PS4 game, but once again, if we can find the game cheap, It's alright if we don't have the case and the manual. Y'all know we love getting the case and the manual, but sometimes we'll just pick them up loose. We'll complete them later on if we get the chance, but we got Dead Rising 2 on the PS4. Next up, we have Transformers Fall of Cybertron on the PS3. I believe this was another random cheap pawn shop find. I think we got this one for like $5 or $6, and if I'm not mistaken, this one has a little bit of value. A couple of these other Transformers games have gone up in value as well. I think this one's worth maybe around 20 or so, and I think one of the other ones is worth a lot more. So pretty awesome though. I'm stoked to be able to jump into all of these games at some point. Next up, we got a few PS2 games. We got Heroes of Might and Magic Quest for the Dragon Bone Staff. Once again, we see any games that we don't have in the collection and we find them super cheap, and they also have to look interesting, which this one definitely looks pretty interesting. We just go ahead and pick them up, and then at some point we play them, and if we don't like them, we do not have to keep them. We will sell it off if it's a game that's just kind of whatever. Next up, picked this game up I think about a couple of months ago, if I'm not mistaken. Most likely another pawn shop find. It seems like we end up adding a lot of games to our collection from the pawn shop, so big shout outs to them. They always have great deals. We have Rough Trigger. I think it's the Van Core Conspiracy. This game looks amazing. I cannot wait to jump into this one. Next up, with the super beat up label, but that's okay. Sometimes it just happens like that. But guys, we have Star Wars Bounty Hunter on the PS2. Hopefully at some point we will find a little bit of a condition upgrade when it comes to this. I feel like anything will look better than this, but hey, as long as the game plays, that's all that matters, right? Right. Couple of new additions to the toy collection, but we have this vintage 1996 Hulk figure. We did find this at a yard sale and it was super freaking cheap. But yeah, this thing is pretty rad. Another pretty sweet action figure. I can't find what year this is from. It's usually printed on there somewhere, but I'm almost positive this is from the 90s. But we have this Terminator figure. I think this might have been from Terminator 2, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, this thing is so freaking sick. And just like a lot of other stuff we pick up, this was from a yard sale. And guys, rather than holding these one by one, I figured I would just show a few of them off. This is my growing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles vintage collection. We've been picking these up little by little. Y'all make sure to check out the Toy Hunting Side series and you can see where we've picked up the majority of these. Not sure if the episode where we scored this in has dropped, but we have this WCW Nitro Tiger handheld with my favorite wrestler of all time. We've got Sting. I didn't even know they made this. We saw this at a yard sale and I was like, ugh, like I need it. And I don't think we spent much on it. I can't remember. I think it was like $1 or something. But yeah, anytime we see something like this that we don't have, oh yeah, especially if it's cheap, we're gonna pick it up. Next up, we have Mario Party 4 on the GameCube. This was another pawn shop score. We paid up for this one, but we still got a pretty good deal. It's always awesome when you get to come across GameCube stuff. Now, personally, I'm not really looking to collect a lot of GameCube stuff right now. You guys do see the collection over there. But since we did have to kind of pay up for this one, I don't know if I feel comfortable putting it in the collection. Y'all know we like to find games cheap, and if we find this game super cheap at some point, maybe later on we'll add it to the collection, but not entirely sure. This one might get sold off. Not sure just yet, but still pretty awesome to come across. And another heavy hitter for the GameCube. We have Def Jam Fight for New York. This game just keeps going up in value. Maybe it's dipped back down at some point, but last time I checked, if you have this game in good condition and it is complete, it goes for anywhere from like $150 upwards to $180. Now, we definitely paid up for this one as well. Once again, not sure if that episode is dropped, so if you haven't seen it yet, maybe this is a little bit of a spoiler, I don't know. But yeah, this is one of those things where it's like, dang, we spent a lot of money on this game. We definitely got it for a really good deal, but do I feel comfortable adding it to the collection for the price we paid? Now, I'm sure some of y'all probably will disagree with me, but if we spend a little bit too much, I feel like those are the games we end up kind of having to flip. I guess you don't really have to flip anything. You can keep it all if you want. It just doesn't sit right with me at that point. But if we would have found this like for $5, it's like, okay, it could be worth hundreds of dollars. And at that point, we found it so cheap, I kind of don't care. But when you got to pay up for something like that, then you start kind of wondering, you're like, yeah, kind of need that money back so I can keep things flowing, but we'll see at some point. I don't know. Kind of like holding on to it for a little bit, but this one might be going bye-bye. And another game you don't see too often, we have Attack on Titan 2 for the PS4. This one has definitely a little bit of value, and I think there's another Attack on Titan 2. It's like Battle something, and that one has gone up in value. So it's kind of crazy that we're at the point where we're starting to see PS4 games climb up in value. But yeah, let me know how you feel about Attack on Titan. I really enjoy the anime, but I hate how much they keep dragging out the show. I think the last season was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be it, the final part, and then now it's like, oh no, here's the part 3 of the final part of, you gotta wait for the part 1 of the part 2. I don't know, it's getting freaking confusing, it's getting out of hand. Just finish the freaking show. Give the people what they want. And guys, in no particular order, as you can tell, because this is not the first Wii U game you have seen. You've already seen some Wii U games, but we have Rabbids Land, another one we did not have for the growing Wii U collection. We're getting close, y'all. One day we will complete it, but as I mentioned, we are not in a rush. Another addition to the Wii U collection, we have Rayman Legends. The cover art, it's seen better days, but we've definitely seen worse conditioned games, like that Star Wars Bounty Hunter y'all just saw. That one was pretty beat up, but I'm stoked to be adding this one to the Wii U collection. And 3 more of the Rabbids games. Now guys, I will admit, I didn't think I was going to end up enjoying any of these games, but some of them are actually kind of fun. But we have Raving Rabbids Travel in Time, Raving Rabbids TV Party, and Rayman Raving Rabbids 2. I don't know why I decided to say Rayman there. It's clearly there as well. Let me know if you are a fan of any of these games. I will say this, I do enjoy the ones on the Switch, Mario vs. Rabbids or whatever. I only played the first one, and that game was a lot of fun. Need to jump into the sequel at some point, but yeah, pretty cool additions, and they're all super freaking cheap. Next up, a few Super Nintendo games. We've got The Art of Fighting. These games are actually pretty fun. Am I great at them? No, I've never really been that great at fighting games, to be honest, but this one is still a pretty fun game. Next up, we've got Fatal Fury 2. Now, I keep asking myself, kind of like what happened with the Wii U games and the N64 games, the Super Nintendo is just way more nostalgic to me. So part of me, and I don't know if we're just hoarders at this point, I think we are, I think we have collecting problems. Part of me kind of wants to go for the full Super Nintendo set, and I don't know if that's a great idea. There's so many freaking games. I think there's 600 something, or maybe it's more, maybe it's like 700 something. I don't know how many Super Nintendo games we have, honestly. Like, you guys can see some of them back there, a few more over there, and I know there's a lot of bad Super Nintendo games out there as well. So at that point, it's like, do we really need all of them? We don't. But when we find them really cheap, it is so hard not to just add them to the shelves. Y'all let me know what we should do down below in the comment section. All right, everyone, and the final game I wanted to show off is the Simpsons Bart's Nightmare for the Super Nintendo. Yo, I freaking love the Simpsons, and some of these games are ridiculously freaking hard. Y'all drop some comments below and let me know if you are a fan of The Simpsons. All right, everyone, that is going to be it for today's video. I appreciate all of y'all. Drop some comments and let me know what your favorite thing was. Is it something that you're currently trying to pick up for yourself? Is it something that you already have in your personal collection? Drop a comment and let me know. I love hearing from you guys. If you are new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And also, I just wanted to make it really clear that these videos are never about, hey, look at this, look at what we have. Like, it's never like a brag or anything. I feel like most of you guys already know that by now. But the point of it is just to kind of show off, like, hey, here's some cool stuff that you might not know about. Once again, not a brag, but it's like, here's a hidden gem that maybe you've never seen before. Here's a video game that maybe you've never heard about. I personally love watching videos like this. This is how I find out about a lot of the games that I end up wanting to play. So I really hope that it kind of helps you guys out as well. But yeah, drop some comments. Let me know what other stuff you guys want to see here at the Retro World. Until next time, peace. Just finish the freaking show.